a guy who wasn't really talked about at all during that first episode. And it was a big part of our offseason, at least especially the beginning. And that was Xavier McKinney. And all of a sudden, like the whole episode starts off with Xavier McKinney talk at that point. So they started the episode off with Joe Schoen getting the email about the new cap number from the league. And obviously the cap number much higher than expected. Definitely something they were excited about, which to me,
we knew it was happening.
It's also, to me, always a little overblown because it's not like the Giants got extra money. Everybody got extra money.
Yeah.
So it's like, you still were competing against people that got a lot of money too as well. Like, it didn't really help as much as people made it seem. It may have helped some really cap-strapped teams, perhaps, more than it helped, people
like
that
the
had.
Giants.
Yeah, but the Giants had a healthy cap number this year, I felt like. Wasn't like $100 million like some teams did, but we had some money to make some moves.
Healthy for what we've had.
Exactly. Listen,
doesn't mean it's healthy, but healthy for what we had.
After having the cap space of the New Orleans Saints with the talent level of the Little Giants, okay, this seemed like a very big win.
Yes.
Okay.
You're not wrong for that.
But yeah, the second that he talked about it, started talking about the new cap number, the first thing he brought us up is maybe we have a chance to keep Xavier McKinney after all. They had another section in there where Jerome Henderson is brought in during the combine when the coaches are talking there in the luxury box during a scene when we're talking about him. And the staff talked about giving him an offer, but saying basically, hey, maybe off the table next week kind of scenario. One of those like false sense of urgencies for those people that are in sales understand what that means. A false sense of urgency. You got to give them the whiffum, the fear of missing out there and all.
Yeah.
It's like that's exactly what they were doing. We're going to find out more as the Xavier McKinney stuff comes out, but I think it was pretty obvious in the, watching the show and watching how things have played out this offseason, obviously, that the Giants it wasn't just running back. They had a cap number 4. I don't think they wanted to spend huge on a safety because of the needs they had. They wanted to fix the lines, and that's both. They wanted another pass rusher, another dominant defensive line kind of guy, and they wanted to try to fix this offensive line. And I think in their eyes, it came down to, do we keep Saquon Barkley? I'm sorry, do we keep Saquon and Barkley? Do we keep Saquon and Xavier McKinney? Or do we try to beef up these lines? And I think they felt like they couldn't do both. And I think they didn't really care about losing Barkley, but I think McKinney hurt them. I do think they wanted to keep McKinney, but they didn't want to pay him what he was going to get paid in the open market.
Correct. I think when it comes down to, 3 big numbers, obviously you're keeping DJ, right? He's guaranteed money. He's got to play this year.
Yeah, keeping him in this year.
Yeah. The 2 other ones, so it's said 3 big money.
Yeah.
Because that's what when you talk about you got, that's what you got to go through. So the next 2, you're talking about McKinney, you're talking about Barkley, right? So I think Shane, and we'll allude to that a little later, is like, he may feel a little bit of hurt about, the offer they put out last year, and just kind of like seemed like Barkley was upset about it. But we'll get to that later. But you got McKinney. You got this young guy, finished 4th in the league, and at his position in PDF last season. Didn't miss a game. Played fantastic. Obviously, finished 4th.
Yeah. Oh yeah, PFF loved him.
He's also like a locker room hero. Everyone loves him. Everyone around him, regardless. Yeah. They do whatever he says. Just come back with all your fingers after 4th of July.
Yeah. Also,
but
except his hairstyle. I'll never understand the half blonde, half not blonde thing, but whatever.
Whatever it is. These dumb whippersnappers.
Stupid.
Yeah, when you had hair, you look like Dane Cook in that 2000.
What are you talking about here? Did you just mention my baldness? Wow. The hat hides it well.
I'm just saying, like, McKinney, right? Like, if he wasn't getting paid what he got paid by Green Bay.
Yeah.
And if he would have got like just a few mil less, they probably would have thought about keeping him. But at the same time, just like you alluded to earlier, like you can't pay your quarterback $40 million. You can't pay your
There's a cap.
safety $19 million, and you can't pay your running back another $15 million. Like that's just too much money. You're looking at 45, 65, and $84 million. Like
the vibe I got, especially that beginning opening scene, was kind of like the Giants went into this offseason expecting to lose McKinney. And when the cap number went up higher than expected, there was a glimmer of hope for them, per se. But it wasn't like, brimming with optimism. It's kind of like, hey, maybe we can pull this off after all.
Yeah.
But he just wasn't high in the totem pole. And again, I get it. And I feel like people like Giant fans, NFL enthusiasts, whatever category people are in that are, following those situations, they looked at the Barkley situation and kind of went, you know what? Positional value, I get it. No one said that really too much with McKinney. Like, it's a safety position. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to disrespect the man. He's a great safety in the NFL. He's kind of like that B tier guy. He's still not an A tier. He's not, all pro. He's not that kind of guy. He could develop into him still, depending on, what happens the rest of his career. But he's not one of those guys now. But he's a B tier kind of safety. And in the end, you can't break the bank for a B tier safety. That's not good money making at that point. Good money spending at that point. It's a bad value pick to do at that point. Now, if you think he's the guy who's going to put you over the edge to potentially make a large playoff run or a Super Bowl or something like that, then yeah, by all means. And that's what Green Bay did. But for a team like the Giants, you have only so much money left to spend. You have had a team that has not drafted well for a decade. You have a lot of holes, a lot of issues. You didn't have the money to do it. And honestly, I think that's what it was. It was kind of like, it's kind of like they were at the store. They were at the grocery store. And Joe Schoen needed diapers and formula for Daniel Jones. And he couldn't get him the shiny new toy he wanted to get as well. Like he had to pick the essentials and not get the extras and take that out of the cart.
I guess.
But I'm saying that's what it feels like. He's like that, he's on a budget at the ShopRite or Publix, depending what part of the country you're in, whatever at that point, he's chopping the can sale here, okay? And he's got the important stuff, the line Daniel Jones needs. He's got, he's gonna get the weapon he needs at that point. He's gonna go ahead and get the running back that he can afford to get. He's going to go ahead and get a pass rusher to help the defense. But a safety is kind of an extra. And he doesn't have the money for extras. And that's where I felt like he was at. Like, he really wanted that extra. I just realized we're calling it extra for Xavier McKinney here.
Extra. X going to give to you.
But that's what he wanted. Like I said, that I don't think there was not a doubt in my mind watching the show that he wanted to keep Xavier McKinney. I don't think he cared less if he lost Saquon. But if there was no cap, he probably would have wanted to keep both. Let's be honest. But
okay.
Given the cap situation, he was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to pay a ton of money for a 27-year-old running back, but this young safety who's proven himself in this league, I'd love to keep him. But we have other needs, and they're more important. Got to put this on the back burner and see if we can make it happen when we're done here." That's basically the vibe I got, and it's fair. Yeah. It's the right move, I think. So,
which makes sense. You got to prioritize, positional value. Like we've talked about earlier. Like you got you got great trenches. The guys you have behind the trenches, like they don't have to be so great. Like they still need. Still nice to have great, but
oh yeah, like no one's gonna say, why would you get an All Pro or a Pro Bowl caliber safety or a guy who could potentially be one in this case, but no one's going to say, why would you, no one's going to complain when you get one. But if you break the bank for one when you have other needs, they may.
Correct. Like,
and that's where we're in. So
yeah, 100%. Like you need to dig your lines. You need to stand those lines, and
that's
then you need to defend. Yep, and you got to defend the lines after that. So that's 100% what they did.
Good move, I thought overall. I get the feeling where he was at, and I don't disagree with the mindset he was at there. The guy you wanted to keep, but a guy that you couldn't put as a top priority. And unfortunately, you lost him because of that. So we'll get more into that, I'm sure, as this show progresses, because as of this point, free agency even started really from where they're showing. So, we're definitely getting more into it. But, again, they wanted to keep him. Xavier McKinney wanted to be a Giant. It just couldn't make it work. So
if you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.